Hello! Happy stream! Hope you guys are doing well. It is the last YouTube stream for 2023. Jesus. How did that happen? I hope the week is going okay for you guys. I know we're kind of trudging through it. I don't know about you, but like the last week before Christmas always feels like we shouldn't have to do anything. It's like, what do you mean I need to do XYZ? It's the 21st. Like, it's so close. But yeah, let me go ahead and transition this over. I wasn't sure what to do today to kind of like dick around with while we were hanging out. I decided we'd put on like a festive Super Auto Pets thing because it's chill and that way I can still talk to you guys. So that's fun. I'm also going to turn this down in my ear because it's loud. There we go. I'm sorry, I cannot help you. If you're in the comments, you're on your own. Hit the wall today? Yeah. That's a fucking mood. We've reached that point of the year where we wake up more tired than we went to bed, so. I had to talk to my parents last night, the first time I've talked to them since Grandma passed, and it was okay. It was draining, but it was okay. So, how many more Twitch streams for us of the year? Hold on. A couple. Let's see. My calendar is pinned in Twitter and also, I think, Patreon and Discord. Let's see. We've got today, the 20th. I've got a Twitch stream tomorrow. A recast Twitch stream the day after that. Then I take off a couple of days. Then I come back a week from today, your guys' time. So the 27th. And then the 28th. And I don't know why the 29th doesn't have a stream on it. It probably should. Yeah. So I'm gonna say... Yeah, it definitely should. Gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more streams before the end of the year. So a little holiday break. And then my normal days off. But no, yeah, there's gonna be streams. My schedule is pretty consistent. I stick to it really, really closely. And I don't like missing. So yeah. Making dinners you enjoy the stream, lovely. Thank you for the hugs. I appreciate it. It has been a hell of a year. Yeah, I feel like we could all stand to just kind of vibe it out again, you know. I mean, I know we do that a lot, but like it just feels like this is the time, you know, like we just kind of need to just chill and unwind and decompress and like have a little break from all the crap, because my god, there's so much crap. So hey Vod. Anyway, oh, sorry, I just had a little coughing fit. Bleh. Yeah, chill with holiday vibes. That's what we're here for. We're gonna kind of keep it low-key, keep it chill, and just sort of relax a little bit. I think we really, really need that. I didn't realize I had a game in progress. Boo. Abandon. Okay, we'll start over. Yeah, we could all stand to relax right now. It's about to kick off. If you celebrate Christmas, if you have family shit, if you have any sort of obligations this time of year, it's about to kick off. So this is our last little oasis, our last little break before everything just flies into a wall for a couple of days. So, have you played this game on stream before? Yeah, I have. It's kind of my go-to like chill vibed background game, so I can talk to you guys and not have to think too hard. You know, like this game does not require me to use 2 hands. It doesn't require me to pack. Yeah, it doesn't require me to think. But look, it's festive. That's nice, right? Relax by going to the gym. That helps. Yeah, and I've been pretty good about keeping up my workouts this week. I'm not going too far off. I'm not falling off the wagon. But, and I still haven't eaten a single cookie, which is weird. I think I'm just kind of waiting to see how many of them I can take with us to the holiday stuff. So, a nice old-fashioned. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. 'Tis the season, right? To drink. A drinky drink. Let's do that. Let's do that. We're gonna go really buff mosquito. And we'll just be the purple shovels. I don't want to be too gross. Gooey's a gross word. This is a possum game. I do. I like this game. Those cookies would be gone. I don't know what it is, but sometimes when I get into like a baking bender and I make a bunch of cookies, like I'll eat some of the batter while I'm making them because everybody likes to like, lick the beaters and stuff, but I won't go hard on the cookies after they're made. Something like mentally blocks me from doing it. I don't know if it's because I made art and I don't want to consume my art. I don't really know, but Jojo. Yeah, we're just gonna keep all those things. Shopping for Christmas dinner. Oh boy, you are brave. I did walk up to the shops yesterday in the morning right after stream. Actually, it was already 87 degrees out Fahrenheit, but I needed things, so I walked up there. Wasn't too bad. The one good thing about having like a little neighborhood market is that like it can get crowded, but it doesn't have that feel of like a massive grocery store that's packed with people. Like it can only be so bad. Alright, this is our strategy. It's not much of a strategy, but we're gonna try it anyway. Forgot the turkey. I feel like that's easier to do than we think, because like it's such a big thing that it's like you think somebody's got it handled, or of course that was taken care of, like nobody would be stupid enough to forget that, and then somebody does, and it's like, oh, okay. Rib roast asparagus. I think Lupus's dad, because we're doing like Christmas Eve with his mom and Christmas Day with his dad, I think his dad is doing like a big crawfish boil or something, like a big seafood thing.
Have a good day.
It's gonna be interesting. I do like seafood though, so I'm looking forward to that part. Frozen salmon, ooh, salmon's nice. First time catching a stream. Well, welcome. I'm just kind of vibing it out with you guys. They don't have Hawaiian king rolls here, Vod. I've looked. Which, it shocks the hell out of me, some of the things they just don't have here, you know? I need to introduce these people to the joys of Cool Whip and Hawaiian rolls and, what else? Cheez-Its. They need to discover Cheez-Its. Christmas squid? I mean, oyster stuffing is a thing. Your tradition can be anything you want it to be. Whatever your family does, that's what your family does. Like, it's totally cool. Aussie comfort food. I mean, spag bowl is a thing. It's funny to me because there is some Italian influence around here, but it's like so limited. Spag bowl's okay, the way they do it. I saw some at the store the other day and I almost got it, but it's drowning in sauce. And I'm not one of those people that likes to drown my pasta in sauce. I like to use it kind of sparingly. Yeah, the proper hot dog thing, that's true. And I try to give them a pass on that because, you know, regional differences, but it's difficult. Okay, now we start beefing up. Beefy. Turkey. Here, the big Christmas meats are ham and lamb. Ham is, of course, the biggest one by far. I don't do a lot of turkey here. I did make a little turkey breast at Thanksgiving just to say we did, which was surprisingly good. But like here, the turkey in the grocery store is kept in the game section next to the kangaroo meat. So yeah, I like ham. It's just, it's easy to get too much ham, I feel like. Like ham is good in it doesn't take more than like a few bites or, uh-oh, there we go. Internet, you good? There we go. Sorry about that, you guys. The internet hiccuped a little bit. Boo. I think we're good now, though. Yeah. Yeah, ham is good in small doses. Yeah, the internet here hiccuped a little bit, but we're fine. We're good. I definitely can't shake the allergies, though. They are impressive. Might have been Twitch. It's not Twitch, because I'm not on Twitch today. This is YouTube. And also, it was definitely not because OBS blipped too. It was the internet here, which blipped, and then that blip passed on to you guys. Fast forwarding to catch up. You're in the southern hemisphere. Do they Christmas in July? No, they don't. Christmas is Christmas wherever you are. It's always December 25th. So here in the southern hemisphere, Christmas is in the heat of summer. We go swimming, people do beach barbecues, things like that. It's weird. It's not bad, it's just takes some getting used to. That is a really strong ant. We're gonna get our clock cleaned. Yep. There he goes. There he goes. Oof. Not a great start. Oh well. Christmas barbecue. So, I mean, I did live in Florida before, so it's not completely outside my wheelhouse to have, like, you know, cookouts and shit on Christmas Day. Like, we used to go walking on the beach on New Year's Day and things like that. It was never, you know, 45 degrees Celsius like it is here on Christmas, but it was certainly mild enough to, like, you know, put on flip-flops and go out there. And I remember hearing people, like, mowing their grass on Christmas, like, you know, those are normal sounds. I haven't lived in a place with snow in quite a while, so this wasn't too tough a transition to make. If I was trying to transition from, like, where I grew up in the Midwest to here, that would be pretty jarring. Okay. In fact, let's check and see what the temperature is going to be on Christmas. Let's see. Oof. Yikes. Okay. Christmas Day actually not terrible if it stays. So today's high is 37, which in Fahrenheit is 99 degrees. That doesn't count any changes for humidity or anything like that. Christmas Day is going to be 32, which is 89, 90. So 90 on Christmas. Yay! One second, guys. I need to blow my nose. Whew. Man, I did take my pills this morning, didn't I? I have Sudafed on board. Wear my bucket hat. Oh, I will. I have a big sun hat that I wear in the pool and stuff. Putting in a bucket of water and calling it a snowman. I mean, they do kind of do jokes like that. So there's a combination of things here. One is they do traditional Christmas decor, like stuff with snow and ice, because that's all manufactured in the northern hemisphere and imported. So like that's just the imagery of Christmas is snow, you know, like for most of the world. So they kind of just run with that as far as decorations go. But there's also the uniquely Aussie things. There's like the Santa and the board shorts, and there's, you know, beach reindeer and shit like that. Like they have their own little like iconography of like, you know, reindeer pulling, kangaroos pulling the sleigh and stuff like that. So they do have their own flavor. Well, let's do this. Yeah.
I guess I'll just wait till you get home.
It's gonna be pretty warm on Christmas, huh? I mean, climate change do be a thing. It seems like it's getting, you know, we don't have the same like level of hard freezes and stuff that used to happen, so. But yeah, this will be our last hangout here on YouTube before the new year. And I'll put out a new schedule. Ah, there we go. There's a hippo. Fucking finally. Maybe too late for the hippo, but we'll see. Any New Year's Eve plans? No, we usually stream. At least streaming in like the new year with your guys' time zones, which for us is like, you know, noon the next day. Noon or 1 p.m. the next day. So sometimes we stream on our, like last year I think we did a Minecraft stream on our New Year's, and then Lupus hopped back on VR chat to do like because he and his friends do like a traditional like VR chat hangout over their New Year's, like Kisu and everybody. And he pulled me in for part of it. He put his headset on me but kept the body trackers on himself. So he was like really fucking with how it looked. But but yeah. Usually pretty low key. We're not gonna go anywhere. I don't think we're not gonna, you know, get dressed up or anything. Could be fun, but nah, probably not. VR New Year's Eve. Yeah, a lot of them do. And like I said, this has been a thing Lupus has done for years and years. Do the New Year's VR thing. So. Do the stars and the moon look flipped upside down? No. What would that even look like? Sometimes I'm genuinely confused by these questions because the moon is just the moon. Like, it goes through its phases, but like, I'm not sure how it would even look upside down. You know what I mean? Like, I think I understand what you're asking, but no, because the Earth, you know, the axial tilt of the Earth, the view of the moon doesn't necessarily change that much. Like, the dark side of the moon is still the dark side of the moon for us, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like, the stars are a little different. Like, we have the Southern Cross and things like that down here, but it doesn't look like flipped. It's just things are in a different orientation, I guess. There's a few constellations that you just can't see when you're up north because the Earth is blocking them. But it's not that jarring. Like, it really, and also the water does not go backwards in the toilet or anything like that. Like, the Coriolis effect only applies to massive bodies of water. But yeah, I mean, Australia is not a different planet, you guys. Like, it's not that different. It's a pretty regular place, honestly. It'll be shiny muffins today. Chris the Christmas spider. I did kill the redback that was trying to make a home on our Christmas hedgehog decoration next to the Christmas tree. It dead now. So This is the moon's south pole on top in Australia. I mean, top is like, I don't know. I see the moon here. You know what? Let's Google it. Let's Google it. Like, when I look at the moon, I just see the moon. I've never had a moment of going, oh, wow, that looks so different from when I lived up north. Like, it does not register that way. Does the moon look different in different hemispheres? Okay. So, yeah, it's the same phase of the moon, but it looks like it is, like, inverted. But when you're looking at it, like, it's not that drastically different, I guess. Because, like, we have our telescope and we do look at the moon, and like I said, I still have never had the moment of, oh shit, like, that looks so strange. Like, it's, all the craters and stuff are just inverted. So it's the same orientation. So, like, the moon itself is still the same. You're still getting the same face of the moon. You're still getting the same phases of the moon in the same order. It's just like the crater orientation is different a little bit because of the angle. It's all it is. It's like an angle of view versus like you're not seeing anything that I'm not seeing anything that you're not seeing. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I had a mystical, magical view of like the backside of the moon or something, but I don't. So, our globe sold in Australia, the South Pole on top. I don't think so, but let me. I've never been to a store that sold globes. Let's take a look at Amazon. Nope. Globes are still globes. You can find maps and globes that are oriented that way, but they are not common. A globe is still a globe is still a globe. North Pole still in the north, South Pole still in the south, and they orient them accordingly. Nice, Mudge. The moon from different... Yeah. We look at the moon from different perspectives because we are in different parts of the planet. That is true. That said, we're not getting any different views of the moon, and we don't have different phases or different... anything. Like, if it's a full moon for you, it's a full moon for us. Like, all over the world. So, yeah. Even the moon is upside down. I mean, our view of it, I suppose, like the moon itself hasn't changed. Obviously, it's just our view of it. And like I said, the phases don't change. The sides you see don't change. It's just like if you're looking at the same thing from two different angles. So I guess upside down kind of, but like it's not really. It's hard to explain. The moon isn't changing, obviously. Like that's the thing. That's the important thing. And the stars are surprisingly not that different. Like, we still have Orion. We still have... I mean, we have a star app. You can go outside. You know that one you have on your phone where you can, like, turn around and, like, the stars will move on your app and show you, like, what you're looking at and stuff. Like, we still get Jupiter and Venus in the sky. It's really... The Southern Cross is the only major difference as far as, like, big constellations that I've seen. And if you're an Australian redneck, you can get the Southern Cross tattoo. Which, yay... A new bunny, yay. More altered by the east-west. No, it wouldn't be, because, I mean, the Earth is spinning. And the moon is far... Like, remember, the moon is far enough away that you can actually place every other planet in a line between us and the moon. Like, it is not that close. And as the Earth is spinning, like, you're seeing the face of the moon facing us. Everybody's kind of getting it, like, as we ride around and around, we're all getting the same angle. You know, we're all getting the same amount of illumination. We're all getting the same, you know, phases of the moon. We're all just getting the same moon. It's the same moon. It's like the same visual, yeah. Because even though the moon is also circling us, the way that works is that we're still getting that same view. Like, it doesn't matter how far east or west you are, you're still getting the same view. It's hard to explain, but yeah. Nope, nobody's getting like a special view of the back of the moon or anything, unfortunately. Like, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. As far away as the moon is, like, you being a few thousand miles in either direction is not going to matter. I am currently 11,500 miles from where I used to live in Florida. It is just about as far as I can get. Like, if you drilled through the earth from here, you'd come out pretty close to where I used to live. You cannot get further away. And yet, you know, the face of the moon has not changed. So. Hello, hello, hello. We're talking about the moon in different hemispheres.
I guess I'll just wait till you get home.
Not over the moon. It's whatever. I would like to get the telescope back out soon, though. That's a lot of ducks. You look at the moon more. I like the moon. With our telescope, we could see some pretty cool shit. We got some pretty cool pictures, actually, through it, which is nice. Let's get rid of you. Do that for now. Yeah, we're always seeing the same side. That's what I just said. Like, nobody's getting any special views, tragically. I left Florida for the West Coast. I left Florida for the West Coast of Australia. So, I mean, make of that what you will. Let's see, what can we do? Let's beef you up and let's add a trolley bee. Yes, I live on the west coast of Australia right now, where it is very warm and right now very windy. Yeah, it's windy out there. Aw, sorry, dude. Okay, I'm feeling pretty okay. So far west, I'm right back east. It does kind of feel that way. I mean, I'm so far ahead of you guys time zone wise. I'm 13 hours ahead of the East Coast American time zone. Which means I'm, what, 16 hours ahead of the California time zone, even though I'm geographically closer to that. And every time I travel back, it takes approximately 37 to 40 hours of travel time across 3 flights. Let's do this. I really want to use these. Fuck it, we ball. Let's do this. I have a favorite indie game? Crab Champions. I love Crab Champions. That counts, right? Most of the games I play are indie games, I'll be honest. Like, most of the games I play are developed by, like, a single guy chilling in his living room, like, writing all the code. So, ooh, this is not going to go well for us. Are kangaroos that common? Yes. Yes, they are. Kangaroos are fucking everywhere. Not immediately in our neighborhood, but there's a park right nearby that they hang out in. So I'll go see them sometimes. No, I don't want that. This I want. You, go away. You. You're in. Yeah, kangaroos are really common. Any, like, green space, wild space, farmland, they come out and, like, hang out with the cows and pastures and stuff. One of the times we went camping, a big-ass kangaroo hopped right through our campsite in the middle of the night. That scared the shit out of me. We sometimes go walking where they are. If you here on YouTube, if you look up Adventures of Loop and Ree, L-U-P and Ree, you'll find we've got a little baby channel where I put up little videos of some of our adventures. Most of the ones out in the park are not, like the audio is not there because the GoPro was really shit for audio, so I just put some music behind it. But I plan to add more of that as if it cools off and we can actually go out and walk around again. But yes, kangaroos, very, very common. Fucking everywhere. They are a menace. I want this guy. Okay. My favorite indie game explains a lot. I mean, it's Crab Champions. Who doesn't love that? And they're about to drop a big update for that too. The dev's been teasing laser cannons, which I'm 100% on board with. Oof, he had a beefier hippo than we did. Crap. That did not go well. Yep, the PFP is a gnome. That is the right channel. Like I said, there's not much there yet, but I'm hoping to add to it as we go forward. The mob of Rue who hang out by women's store. I'm not surprised. The ones we see are pretty skittish. They don't tend to really want to mess with people too much, but sometimes they're pretty curious. Sometimes they really want to know what's going on. Also, you can eat kangaroo meat. I don't particularly care for it, but some people really do, so. Is Uncle Tony... I have no idea if Uncle Tony's gonna move. I don't know. All I saw was laser cannons. How many kangaroos have I had to fight? 0 kangaroos. They won't let me get too close. Which is probably for the best, because I would absolutely pet them. Okay, this is not going to be great, but that's okay. Now, apparently, when they were kids, Lupus and his sister were at a petting zoo that had kangaroos, and a kangaroo, like, scratched Lupus's face, so his sister punched it. So she can say she's fought a kangaroo. But, I have not. The only thing I've fought is spiders. So far. Which is bad enough. I mean, killing a redback in your house is pretty stressful. Do you see cassowaries? No, cassowaries are not. Cassowaries and crocodiles are not in this part of Australia. They're on the other side, which I'm good for. I'm great with that. I don't want them here. This side, the most dangerous things, I think, are the spiders, the snakes, great white sharks, and bull sharks and stuff too. The rivers have bull sharks in them and they're pretty aggressive. Blue ring octopus. You do not fuck with those. There are some different kinds of jellyfish that kind of suck, but the worst ones are on the other side, like up in the warmer water. Because fortunately where we are, it's pretty far south. So it's not that tropical climate that encourages the growth of a bunch of terrifying things. The fizzy fellas, I like that. Kangaroos don't go through your garbage. No, we don't. I mean, here in our neighborhood, we don't really have... The only thing that go through the garbage here are crows. The crows here are very large and very smart. And when they scream, they sound like cats or babies. Like they have a really high-pitched like wail of a scream. Which you get used to, but when I first came here, that was one of the first things I had to adapt to was the crow sounds. And they will like open your trash cans and pull shit out. Like they're really smart. I did get swooped. Magpies are legitimately scary. We do not fuck around with magpies. Let's go. Hey, NJ, how are ya? No worries, Key. Have a good one. Kangaroos are cool, but I wish we had raccoons have hands. They have actual, like, little human hands with thumbs and shit. Like, they can really get into trouble, and frequently do. They don't have a lot of fear. I remember me and my cat fighting a raccoon in Florida, and that raccoon did not give any fucks. And it wasn't rabid, it was just tired of our shit. I like kangaroos though. Every so often we find the bones of one in the park. Frequently a baby one. Picked like completely clean and bleached, and I want so badly to bring them home and Lupus won't let me. Raccoons are heaps cuter. They're cuter. That's it though. They're fucking big. They can get really big. Like, so I told the story before, but for anyone that hasn't heard it, when I lived in Florida, there was a neighborhood cat that sort of adopted me, and he would hang out, and every so often I'd, let him come in the house and stuff, but mostly I would just put a little food out for him, and he would just kind of chill on my front porch. And one day I was sitting out there chilling with him, and here comes this massive fucking kangaroo. I mean, not kangaroo, raccoon. Jesus, my brain. Massive fucking raccoon. And I mean, like, big. This thing was the size of, like, what's the biggest, like, I'm trying to think of what size. Much, much bigger than a house cat. Like, we're approaching dog size with this raccoon. And it's coming toward the house because I guess it figured out that there was food on the porch. And this cat didn't care who ate its food. Like, I'd look out sometimes and there'd be like a possum eating the food under the bench, and the cat would just be like, yeah, it's fine. There's plenty. Like, the cat knew there was always going to be more food. So it did not give a shit. But this raccoon was, walking on all fours up toward the house, toward us, with the porch light on. And the cat and I looked at each other like, the fuck you think he's doing? And he kind of hesitated for a second, and then he just kind of kept coming. So I picked up a big stick, and I walked out towards it, thinking if I just take a step towards it, it's gonna run off. It didn't. It just stopped and looked at me. And the cat's like standing next to me, like, yeah, get it. Go get it. You got this. And I was like, so I'm standing in my front yard waving a stick at this raccoon going, you go on, get out of here. And what's it do? It starts moving sideways. It figures the best way to deal with this is just to go around me. So it starts moving sideways. So the cat and I are like tracking it, walking sideways along with it, like, no, you can't go around us. No, you go away. We finally ran it off, but like, it did not care. It was just, yeah, it was a big ass raccoon, and had it gotten in any sort of scrap with us, the cat would have been seriously hurt, and I probably would have gotten scratched up and then needed rabies shots, because if you can't catch the animal that scratches you up or bites you, they give you all the rabies shots as a precaution, and nobody wants that. So, can you ride kangaroos? No, you cannot ride kangaroos. You can ride camels, though. They do have camels here. Yeah, I mean, it was a residential area. That raccoon just kind of knew which houses had food out and would just make his way around and eat. And that's fine. Like, I fed several of the neighborhood cats, and I was cool with it, but like, it was interesting to imagine, like, where does this raccoon go during the day? Like, he's got to go somewhere, but he's massive. Like, does he shove himself into a tree or something? Like, where is he? We didn't have a lot of massive trees or like woody areas for him to curl up in. Like, I don't fucking know where he went. We also had a lot of snakes in Florida, but most of them were harmless. I loved the black racer snake that lived in my front bushes, because he would kind of hang out and like sun himself. And he was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous snake. And then there was this really pretty like red snake in a tree down the street that I would see every time I walked the dog. It would like kind of hang out. Very little guy. Neither of them was venomous. Unlike here, where everything is venomous. Have you seen emus? Yeah, there's emu farms down south. We drive past them pretty much every time we go down to see Lupus's family. So yeah, plenty of emus. Fuck. These guys are eating our lunch. Yeah, the thing is you get used to it. Like, going into a place like Australia, it's like, oh shit, this is gonna be so weird. Like, everything's so different. And it is for a few weeks, and then you just kind of get used to it. Everything from the plug sockets to the light switches to the wrong side of the road driving, you just get used to it. We're a very adaptable species. Can you ride emus into battle? You should be able to. The little fuckers are tanks. Emus are so strong. I would be more afraid of fighting an emu than most things. Kangaroos I wouldn't want to fuck with either, but like... But you know that both kangaroos and emus can't walk backwards. Little fun fact there, they can't walk backwards. Neither of them. So that'd make it hard to maneuver them in battle, right? Like, you can't actually back up. You see when it's the correct side of the road. Alright, okay. Yeah, NJ's also in Australia. I'll be at the other side, the gross East Coast side. That gets all the bands and stuff. Yeah, they can't go backwards. Their tails are in the way. Yeah, to be fair, the emu war was handled very badly. Like, they just did not know what they were up for. They didn't know those fuckers could take, like, 4 or 5 bullets and keep running. But they can. Name your team. Let's be... the smooth mushrooms. All those big ass spiders. Okay, so spider-wise, I actually haven't had too many bad experiences. We get those like black house spiders and stuff off and on. And they're annoying, but I just kill them. I've killed 2 redbacks, one in the pantry and one just the other day next to the Christmas tree. Fuck that bitch, she was being real ballsy. It's funny because we have a friend Victoria who's over in Victoria actually, who's a zoologist. And I will send her pictures of the things I find and be like, what is this? I was out working in the yard, I found this like big brown spider and she was like, it's fine. So I sent her a picture of that one and I was like, tell me what it is. And then I knocked it off the decoration and then I saw the big red stripe on the back and I was like, never mind, redback. I killed it. And she was like, oh, be careful. You know, if she's got an egg sac, she's going to be really aggressive. And I was like, she's dead now. Like, I'm not letting a redback live in my house. Why would I do that? But other than that, I haven't seen a huntsman yet. I haven't felt really threatened by any of the spiders I've seen, I'll be honest. Like, there are a few that we've seen that Lupus is like, yeah, don't let that one bite you, it'll fuck you up. But like, when he says fuck you up, he doesn't mean like in a lethal way. The same way he talks about going to the beach and getting stung by jellyfish, but how it's not so bad because these are like the okay jellyfish. And I'm like, there's no such thing as okay jellyfish. But like here, the bar is so like high because there's box jellyfish, there's Irukandji jellyfish. Like there's the jellyfish that if they sting you, you will die in agony and you will beg the doctor to kill you kind of thing. And we don't have those over here, so they're the okay jellyfish. Like if you just get regular stung, it's fine. Like it's not the, oh my God, please kill me stung. So you're okay. Like, you know, gotta make that realistic bar right there. Yeah, the jellyfish and the sharks here, they do give me pause. I don't want to fuck around with the water in Australia. It seems incredibly dangerous. We had a girl get killed by a bull shark in the river not that long ago, like a few months ago. I don't know if we have funnel webs on this side. It's a good question. No idea. I mean, I kill them if I see them. Whatever spider I find, I kill. I don't give it too much thought. I just happened to notice that one was a redback because, you know, redback. The suicide plant is it? Let me check. The tree that makes you want to kill yourself. Let's see. The Gimpy, that's the one. Is Gimpy in Western Australia. Nah, just in the east. Once again, we are excused from the worst of it. If you want a fun read, though, look up the Gimpy. It's a whole thing. Don't recommend ever actually touching it. Speaking of things that make you beg for death. That's what gets me. It doesn't just hurt. It makes you beg for death. Like, there's more than one thing in Australia that does that. Yeah. The Gimpy, the torture that it puts you through is so bad that you want desperately to die. Like, that's why they call it that. It's real bad. So you're welcome. Now you get to hear about that. And again, I don't see Australia as particularly threatening. I really don't. Like, I know people are like, oh my God, everything there's trying to kill you. And it's like, yeah, kind of, but it's just everything here is just a little bit tougher. Like, instead of the States where most of the snakes are non-venomous, and there's a couple that are, here it's the other way around. Most of the snakes are venomous, and there's a couple that aren't. And of the venomous ones, some are worse than others. You just kind of got to know what to do about that. Drop bears are much less dangerous. Drop bears they're a whole other thing. I mean, they bite, but they don't kill, really. So, that plant, though, yeah, I wouldn't fuck around with that plant. Not in a million years. I'm trying to think if there's anything here that's been genuinely... I mean, the time I got swooped by a magpie was pretty startling. I didn't care for that. What else? Catachan is a tamer version of Australia. I don't know anything about that. In your part of Florida, there's a lot of gators lurking in the woods. There's a lot of gators everywhere in Florida. I lived in Central Florida and North Florida at different times, and I mean, that's just the rule in Florida. If there is a body of water, there will be at least a gator in it every time. I saw 5, 6, 10 gators a day when I lived there, just existing in suburban areas. You know, they're just there. They're just there everywhere. It's fine. Like, they taste good. I was never bothered by gators. I take it back. Only one time did I ever feel genuinely concerned about my safety around a gator. Most of the time, nah. A Death World in 40k. Ah, see, I don't really know the planets in 40k all that well. Now, Australia is very cool. It's different. It's different from what we're used to, but it's very cool. It's very sparsely populated. Like, the entirety of the country only has about 25 million people. But it's still, like, the size of the U.S. And granted, you know, most of it's uninhabitable, but still. Do water bowls count? No. But water bowls, you gotta watch mosquitoes in Florida. And really anywhere that grows mosquitoes. But you don't ever want standing, stagnant water. Like outdoor water bowls that aren't frequently rinsed. Bird baths. dilapidated ponds, old tires, anything that can just like hold standing water. Mosquitoes love that shit. So definitely if you have standing water in like little buckets or bowls or anything, dump that shit out a lot, rinse it out a lot. Yeah, we are not getting great draws. Any Yowie sightings? Nope, just the chocolate ones. Lived in St. Augustine for a little. They are all over St. Augustine. But yeah, not in the like touristy area of St. Augustine. I spent a lot of time in St. Augustine, so I lived just north of there. And my parents actually lived in St. Augustine for a little bit. And yeah, they lived in a little neighborhood just like south of the main area. They're along Highway 1. And there were tons of gators in their ponds. Because of course there were. They are just legit everywhere. You get very used to them. Anywhere you go, you're going to get used to whatever the local thing is. Like it or not, you will get used to it. I mean, I talked before about how there was a little tiny pond at the place where I used to go volunteer to walk dogs, and there were 2 or 3 gators in that. And the only time that concerned me was when I was walking a very small dog. Because gators will occasionally go for dogs, little ones. So... Cleaning out your brother's room. Why, Victoria? I was telling Victoria about the redback I found in the house and sent you pictures of the other day. And how it's dead now because I don't want redbacks in my house. Swimming pools for gators. I mean, in Florida, most people have their swimming pools inside of like pool decks that are screened in, which I always thought was a smart move. Like, it makes perfect sense to do that. So you've got like your concrete pool pad with your pool in it, and then you've got like a big screened in, like the whole thing is screened in like an outside room. And that's more common than not in Florida. Everywhere I've ever lived in Florida, that's how people tended to do their pools. And it's much, much better than just having an exposed pool with nothing over it to protect it or anything, because then, yeah, you will get critters in there. So the only things I ever pulled out, the one time I lived in a house that had one of those pools, the only things I ever pulled out of there were frogs, little tree frogs, and one time a ring-necked snake. But it was a little guy. And it was dead, it drowned. So, but yeah, gators in pools, it does happen, but only with like those pools that are accessible. Like gators aren't going to like break through a screen just to get to your pool. And especially if it's well made. And checking the pool for gators is just a matter of looking in the water and making sure that, I mean, honestly, you're better off checking for snakes. I was always more concerned with snakes in Florida than I was with gators. Because even though most of the snakes in Florida are safe, water moccasins can fuck off. Hated water moccasins. Water moccasins and pygmy rattlesnakes were the 2 that were most likely to give you trouble. Pygmy rattlesnakes were very aggressive, which sucked. And then, water moccasins would cause pretty significant like nerve damage that would last for a very long time. Like I knew a guy at the soccer club that got bit and he was really not okay. Water moccasins are also known as cottonmouths because they have very, very white mouths on the inside. Any other dangerous animals? Like I said, the ones that concern me the most are in the water. I don't want to fuck around with jellyfish or blue-ringed octopus or sharks or anything like that. I'm not interested. We get enough shark attack stories and I'm like, meh. Fighting off 3 gators to save a dog. I would, but I've never had to fight a gator. The closest I've ever come was saving Gerald. And the gator that attacked Gerald was no longer there, as far as I know. So I didn't have to actually attack anything. Flying kangaroos. I have not yet had the pleasure of a flying kangaroo. Bummer. Yeah, and there's plenty of literally every body of water in Florida. Canals, ponds, drainage ditches, rivers, they will have gators. You just have to accept that. Like, it's just normal. Even if you don't see them, they're probably there. So, it's fine. With Florida, you have more of an issue with invasive species. You got those massive snakes down in the Everglades that are starting to work their way north. Don't care for that. And they're not supposed to be there. They're not native to Florida. I don't like how this is looking, but we'll just do this. Okay. One saw a gator in the middle of the... Yeah, gators will come out and sun themselves in the road. If they're big enough, they make the news. But I've only swerved once. There was a gator sunning itself in the middle of the road in my neighborhood. And I came around a corner and there it was, and I swerved and missed it. And it was like, yeah, fuck you. The armadillos were fun, though. The only time I ever saw live armadillos was in Florida, because they'd come out at dusk and snuffle around, and they didn't have a lot of fear. They didn't give a shit, because they're armadillos, you know? So I've got so many videos on my phone of armadillos just like, do-do-do-do-do, like, digging for grubs, having a good time. Like, they're super cute, but they just don't give a shit. Like, if I was walking a dog and we came up an armadillo, the armadillo might rear up a little bit, like, whoa, buddy, like, I don't want any trouble. And the dog would be going just ape shit, and the armadillo would be like, yeah, I'm still gonna eat. It's going back to what I'm doing. Fuck you. You found any sewer gators? Again, in Florida, there will be gators everywhere. Like, I don't think you people understand just how pervasive gators are in Florida. They are everywhere. That's why every body of water in Florida that you happen upon, whether it's like a pond, well, every commercial body of water, like golf courses, every golf course in Florida that has ponds on it will have signs on those ponds. Do not enter the water after your ball. There are snakes and gators. Do not feed or harass gators. It's against the law in Florida to feed or harass gators. A child was eaten at Disney World a few years ago by a gator. Like, this shit is, it's all over. Like, it's just gators. You have to accept that they're there everywhere and just be aware of it. Like, it's not a huge deal. Just keep an eye on your pets and children and just go about your life. It's fine. Good night, Angie. Have a good one. And I like gators. I really do. I think they're cute. Yeah, gators and snakes. If there's water, there's gators. And like I said, the snakes bother me more. Most of the time when you see gators, like in the wild, they're out of the water, they're on the bank, they're chilling, their mouth might be open because that's how they regulate their temperature, and they're just vibing. If they're in a residential area, normally they wait until they get about 3 or 4 feet, and then they will call a guy to come remove the gator, which usually means harvesting it. But they can't let it get too big if there's houses around. My favorite, though, is when they develop a whole new swamp into houses, and then people complain that there are gators. Like, who do you think was here first, bitch? Give it some thought. Disney got rid of the mosquitoes in Florida. Okay. I mean, there's still mosquitoes in Disney. What Disney does have is pens of chickens behind the scenes that the guests will never see. And they closely monitor those chickens for mosquito-borne illnesses, West Nile, things like that. That's what those are there for. They are several chicken pens that exist solely to monitor mosquito-borne illness within the Disney property. Ask me how I know. I did not work with the chickens when I worked at Disney. That sounds gross. Yeah, a lot of your Florida man stories will have gators in them. I think they're cute because they are cute. Gators are cute. Little guys are adorable. Which Disney park is the feral cats? Those are in California mostly, I think. Because Disneyland Anaheim is like within this city. It's in the city of Anaheim. Whereas Disney World in Florida is a 47 square mile, like twice the size of Manhattan patch of land that is set off from the highway, surrounded by green space. It's actually mostly undeveloped compared to the parts that are. And less dependent on things like feral cats to weed out rats and stuff in the parks. I'm sure they're there. I didn't really see them, at least not at Epcot, but I'm sure there are some because you're always going to get wild cats and stuff. But yeah, gators on the golf course, like that's just normal. And idiots will try to go into the water after their balls, and it's like, just don't. Like if you hit a ball into the water in Florida, just say goodbye to it. It's gone now. Take the drop and move on. Feels super unethical what they do behind the scenes. I mean, keeping chicken pens to monitor for mosquito-borne illness is normal. That's actually a pretty common tactic and surprisingly earth-friendly. There are other things that Disney does that would definitely be considered questionable, but that's definitely not one of them. Yeah, Florida also has otters, and they're cute when they're little, but they can also get quite aggressive. I remember seeing this little family of otters, they're like 3 babies, and I was like, oh my god, they're so cute, just playing in a pond in the neighborhood I lived in. And then like I was talking to a lady down the street about them, and she's like, yeah, they're great, but when we take the kids to the bus stop in the morning, the otters are really aggressive. And I'm like, how the fuck are the otters aggressive? What are you letting them do? Are they charging up on your children? Like, what's happening? Fucking aggressive otters. Yeah, I feel like a solid rule of thumb anytime is don't play golf with a ball that you don't want to lose. That's just good practice. Like what? Anywhere. It doesn't have to be Florida. Just don't play golf with a ball that you don't want to lose. Yeah, the chickens are well taken care of. They're just being monitored. If one of them starts showing signs, then it's the canary in the coal mine thing. It's the, we have something we need to deal with here. Let's deal with it. Yeah, the news article thing, the Florida Man thing exists because Florida has extremely open sunshine laws, which basically means that like police blotters, police reports, all that shit is extremely public. Anybody can access that information. So journalists have no trouble getting access to stories about any idiot doing any dumbass thing that the police file a report about. So that's why the Florida Man thing is such a meme, because in the state of Florida, that information is extremely public. So, not that there's anything wrong with that. I think it's hilarious. Yeah, otters can be brutal. Here, there's not as many little mammals running around like in Florida. Like in the States especially, like you get squirrels, chipmunks, the raccoons, the possums, the groundhogs, the, gophers, moles, all that shit. Like these are all things I've seen living in the States. Here, I saw like a possum twice and a bandicoot a couple of times. We do have bandicoots. I'm trying to think if there's any other mammals I've encountered in the wild. Not really. I mean, kangaroos, obviously, but as far as little scurrying mammals, not really. There are many. They're mostly marsupials, mostly nocturnal, mostly not in my neighborhood. But, yeah, it's weird because you don't get, like, the squirrels running up and down the trees or anything like that. It's just not a thing here. Dirty cup with a spider web in it. Ugh. You are a trooper, Victoria, for doing that. I know it's for the greater good, but boy, does it suck. Bandicoots. Yeah, bandicoots are real. They just look like kind of big rats, honestly. Big, slightly pointier rats. They're really cute. I like bandicoots. You leave. Okay. You leave. There we go. Have I ever had a Florida man moment? I mean, I've seen, when I lived in Florida, I saw plenty of Floridians being Floridians. You also get a lot of, tourists being stupid in Florida. Like, it's remarkable how fucking stupid tourists are in Florida. People get in vacation mode and they just act like idiots. I'm trying to think of anything specific. Most of the time you just kind of ignore it. Like, you get used to it and you ignore it if people are just staggering around screaming or... some things are just kind of common, like in any city. You leave. Okay. Bears, mountain lions, and rabies. Yeah, I don't think rabies is much of a thing here, at least compared to the States, but, it's always a concern. We had a lot of bats in Florida, but again, I really liked them. They were the little brown bats, and it was fun to watch because, like, you'd be walking at night and you look up at the streetlights and there's like a million bugs, flying around the streetlights, and there'd be these little bats swooping through the streetlights, eating the bugs. Because, like, a good bat can eat like thousands of mosquitoes in a single night. So, fuck yeah, go bats. Like, eat them all. And they move so interestingly. They don't move like birds. They have a different movement style, which is really cool. A farmer mice plague. Not a thing we deal with in the burbs. Yeah, I don't live out in the outback, you guys. I live in a house in a neighborhood with, like, parks and children and people walking dogs and strollers and shit. This is very, very familiar if you've ever lived in the suburbs. Yeah, magpies, like, if you ask actual Australians, the thing they're frequently the most worried about is magpies. For very good reason. I have been swooped. I don't recommend it. So the thing about bats is they might be the carrier of rabies where you are, but the pervasive wisdom that bats are rabies carriers is actually not true. If you Google it, if you look into it, they've just gotten a really bad rap about it. But they are not any more or less prone to carrying rabies than any other small animals. So people are for some reason, bats have gotten that reputation, but they really actually don't carry rabies any more than anything else. That said, if you have a brush with any wild animal, you should obviously get checked out and, if possible, bring the animal so they can check it and make sure. Because you really don't want to get the rabies series. I had a friend who went to Target. She saw a stray cat inside the Target. She went to, like, pick it up because she thought it was someone's pet, and it scratched her and ran off. She chased it. It was running toward the front door. She yelled to the guard, like, grab that cat. He didn't move. The cat got out and got away, and she had to go get the rabies shots. And she was not pleased. I am tragically not roughing it in the bush fending for my life. I mean, I guess I could be. I just need to get the tent. Adorable tugboats. Yay. I think it started in Cujo. Maybe, yeah, that stuff like that does have a tendency to get legs. But yeah, bats are mostly fine. But again, just don't try to grab one. Don't try to touch them. Don't try to hug them. They are wild animals. Yeah, Matcha knows where I am. Matcha knows. That's what the /S is. It means sarcasm. Bag of dog food and a rattlesnake. Yeah, that's another thing to think about. Just in a general sense, don't reach into dark spaces without looking to see what's in them. Like, ever. It feels obvious, but
11:57 p.m.
that's the kind of freak stuff that, like, if it happens, you're like, well, shit. I guess it was just bound to happen. Rabbits eating plants. Yeah, my mom used to get real pissed at the deer when we still lived in Illinois. The deer would eat her hostas. She was real mad about it. I do like the birds here, though. I like the different kinds of, like, wild parrots that just fly around. Cockatoos and black cockatoos, which are really, really pretty. And the pink and gray galahs. I love them. They're kind of fat and I love them. So many cool birds in Australia. My parents are finally coming to visit for the first time in March. So they'll get to experience all this and I'll get to see it through their eyes because I've completely acclimated and I forget what's cool. So, like, I remember the first time I came here just to visit, how it felt kind of Seussian. Like, everything was a little bit off. The trees were a little more cartoony to me. Like, the animals were kind of wild. Like, the birds, like, just having random parrots in your neighborhood. Like, I thought that was so strange. And then that whole, like, fantastical vibe wore off and everything is normal, and I kind of miss it being fantastical, so I'll see it their way.
I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about.
Bats are super dangerous. Haha.
Christmas is all about.
What's the weather like? Hurricanes and typhoons and stuff, they can happen, but they don't really much. The main natural disaster we do have here is bushfires, because in the summer it's incredibly hot and dry, and things just fucking light up. And we actually did have to evacuate our house for a bushfire a few weeks ago, because a fire sprung up like 2 blocks from our house. Literally in our neighborhood, a fire sprung up, which is the downside to having this. Like, I like our neighborhood. I like how it's sort of like designed to have a bunch of green space in it, but that green space is flammable. And we got the alert to act to survive, which means get the fuck out and do not come back until the all clear. So we grabbed our go bags and got the fuck out, and it was exciting and terrifying, and so we had our first bushfire evacuation. But the fires can be really, really bad. If y'all remember, right before COVID hit, there were some massive fires that devastated just a shit ton of Australia. And then COVID hit and distracted from that. But yeah, we do not fuck around with fires here. You don't mess with them. You don't try to fight them. You just get the hell out. Let the professionals do their job. And when that happened, like, the firefighters act so quickly. We had, the sirens. We had the guys on the ground. We had 2 helicopters flying, dropping water. We had a plane. Like, they were not messing around. They take it so seriously. More power to them. Like, they did a great job. Kookaburras. Kookaburras are a thing. Not too many in our neighborhood, but, like, the further out into the rural areas you go, I'll hear them out there quite a bit, actually. Let's see. When's the last place I heard a kookaburra? Where the fuck were we? Might have been Gnomesville, actually. I think we heard one at Gnomesville.
Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas.
Rainbow lorikeets. We have 28s. The little parrots are like green with black and red on them, and some blue and stuff. I don't know if we have lorikeets on this side, but we do have 28s. Good night, Derek. Have a good one. Yeah, people will do their best to mitigate the fire thing. They'll do controlled burns. There's fire breaks that are like required by law. Depending on how big your property is, you have to have fire breaks. Yeah, they do their best, but sometimes entire towns get wiped out by the fires. There was a town just south of here that several years ago had a massive fire, destroyed the whole town, melted the paint right off the highways, melted the road signs, the metal road signs. Like, it was just, you get to that point where it's like you just have to wait it out. You know, try to keep it contained and wait it out. So it does happen. They're considered pests here. I haven't seen any, so maybe they're failing at pesting Victoria. They're the worst pests ever. They're cute though. I don't mind them if we did have any. God knows we got every other fucking parrot over here. Yeah, I mean, Australia's huge. Australia's, you know, comparable in size to the United States. So people forget that like the other side is a completely different climate, completely different geography, completely different natural disasters. Like here in the winter when it rains, we'll sometimes get like hailstorms and stuff out here. So there can be flooding. Like anywhere, to be fair, anywhere on the planet can flood. That's one of those things that like we talked about during the disaster preparedness recast a couple weeks ago. Wherever you are, there is a chance of flooding. I don't care where you are, there's a chance of flooding. Like that's just always a thing. And that's why you should always be prepared for that sort of thing. But the main thing here is the fires, like hands down. Some of the parrots can be assholes. The parrots here, like, there's a huge group of cockatoos that like congregates. They'll come with their partners, and they all congregate on the same roof down the street from us. These people must feed them or something, because like when I used to walk to the train in the mornings to go to school, there would be 40 or 50 fucking cockatoos on this one roof right at dawn, and they were just, yeah, they had to be so loud on that metal roof too. Okay. Only got one heart left. No. Ever thought about going back to the States? Not to live, probably. I'm knee deep in the visa process right now to stay here. So I would like to stay here. This feels better. I lived a lot of places. I lived in the States. I spent like 6 months living in the UK. That was okay. I did like the UK. It was a little more expensive. I liked London a lot. I lived like, how far outside London was I? I'm trying to think how long the drive would take. Maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes outside the city. I could take like a 10-minute Uber ride to the train station, like to the closest underground stop, and then take the rest of the way in on the train. So, yeah, it wasn't far. And I very much liked the vibe there. It was really cool. Very, like, all the history, all the quaintness. I would walk around Windsor a lot. Like the Windsor High Street. I would do a lot of shopping there and stuff like that. See the castle. Like, Windsor Castle was just right there. So, like, every other block had a crumbling castle or a war memorial or something on it. So that was pretty cool. But the weather was there. Like, it wasn't as bad as I expected. I expected a whole lot worse. But, like, the summers in the UK are getting a lot hotter, and they did not have air conditioning, and that sucked. So this feels a little better. It's not as different from the States as the UK was. It's like a nice amalgam. Like there's aspects of the US here, there's aspects of the UK here, and then there's things that are uniquely Australian. So how's the visa process going? It is going. I was actually talking to a woman the other day who went through exactly what I'm going through just, earlier. And we were talking about how invasive the medical exam is, because I'm going to need to get that after the first of the year. I've been kind of waiting, but I need to get it done. And, they do a full exam. They do x-rays. They do blood work. And she's like, yeah, it's really an invasive exam. And she's like, and they're also going to check all of your like childhood vaccines and see if they're still like in your system, because vaccines do wear off over time. And if they're not in your system, then you will be getting boosters for all of those. And she said she got something like 18 shots over the course of 3 months. And I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna suck. But yeah, that's my next step. It's getting that done. So, woo, lucky me. But yeah, no, I mean, the process at least is moving. So, Australian tour guide audio win. Did I do something like that already? I'm trying to remember. I've done something like that. I did. I did actually. I did it specifically to to make sure that my trip here was a write-off. Can't remember which one it was though. But I have done that. Man, bad rolls. Yeah, Australian Zoo Guide, that's the one. How often do I see other Americans? Not super often. When I hear the accent, it actually catches my attention. Because again, when you first move here, it's strange to see like ads on YouTube or like commercials on TV that are in Australian accents, and then you just get so used to it that when you hear an American accent, it's weird. So like if I hear an American accent in public, I do kind of swing around like, oh, I hear something. There was one other girl in my class when I was doing the school thing that was American. She was from Oregon, I think. And she was pretty nice. But not a lot of, I mean, but the people here, like by and large, either they don't notice my accent, or if they do pick up on it, they assume I'm Canadian. Like actually people will ask Lupus if he's American more than they ask me. And I think part of it is because they're just very exposed to American accents through the media. Like most of the movies and TV come from America, so they're just like very used to hearing it. So they don't necessarily pick up on it when somebody talks that way. But yeah. Yeah, I knew I'd done an Australian animal one. I just couldn't, like, it wasn't a bush guide. It was the zoo guide one. Yeah. You guys, I can't even tell you like how I've written so many scripts that like even though I have the fucking files and I know I wrote these things and I recorded them and I edited them, sometimes I go back and go, wow, I did one on that? That's interesting. Like I don't even remember it because I'm like 700 scripts in now over the course of 4 years, and it's like, Jesus. My brain can't keep them all. I have to just sort of let them go. Okay, that one goes. Oh, hippo. Hippo for me, hippo for you. Let's get the hippo and the bunny too. Okay, here we go. We love an early hippo. Good night, Greg. Have a good one. Okay, we're doing okay so far. This one I feel better about. It's nice when we get good draws. I would like a garlic, please. There it is. Fuck yeah. Keep you too. Yeah, most Canadians do sound pretty American. It's a very interchangeable. Like, and I'm just now starting to be able to differentiate Australian from New Zealand. Like, for Lupus, it's a no-brainer. Like, he picks it up immediately. But I, don't have the ear for it because Americans. I'm learning. But there's this weird commercial, like, ad on YouTube right now. And if you're here in Australia, you might have seen it, where it's a woman talking about bird food. And she's like, it's oddly specific for like if you have pet birds, and she's just standing there in front of a white background with pictures of bird food talking about what's best for your bird. And I don't know who this is for. Like, are there that many people in Australia that have pet birds that need to see this? I don't know. But she's from New Zealand, and I picked up on it. I was like, is that a New Zealand accent? Luke was like, yes. And I was like, fuck yeah. I got it. Hell yeah. Okay, let's see. I actually just watched Inside Out the other day. Alright, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do... Oh, now we got all the garlic, which I don't need. Okay, let's do this. Aha. I like the cupcakes in this game. They make me want cupcakes, though. I do need to make cookies later. Today I've got to work on audios. Got to make cookies. I'll probably go ahead and clean out the fish tank. I was waiting to do that closer to when we left town, but I might just go ahead and do it today. Yeah, a lot of accents are starting to kind of run together. Like, honestly, like what we consider a Canadian accent, like to me, a lot of just very far North Americans talk like that, like Minnesota and like upper Wisconsin, like they sound an awful lot like that anyway. So like there's a lot of blurring, and that's okay. Like I still can't really approximate an Australian accent at all. Like I can't make my mouth move that way. Is gun violence less common? Of course it's less common. Yeah, of course it is. Like the only country that has a problem with gun violence is America. That's it. As far as like first world countries go, compare all of them, the only one with a problem is America. It's kind of a no-brainer, really. Guns are not a thing here. If you have a gun, you're probably a cop, a bikie, or a farmer. Farmers have guns to, you know, shoot vermin and stuff like that. Bikies are criminals, so whatever. But they're not like robbing every store and every bank. Like you don't really see them much. And cops, and that's it. So yeah, we do not have shootings here. After the last mass shooting here in Australia many, many years ago, they decided collectively to stop having guns be a thing. They were just sort of like, we're going to turn the guns in now, and they did. Basically, people just turned in their guns. We're like, we don't want this to be our culture. And just like that, they haven't had a mass shooting since. So, yeah. Pretty straightforward. Ukraine. We're not talking about war zones. When we talk about gun violence in countries, you have to exclude war zones. That is bad faith arguing if you're including places where there's active conflict. You might as well say Israel and Gaza. Like, those are not included. When we're talking about gun violence statistics, we're talking about gun violence outside of war zone. We're talking about peacetime situations in peaceful countries with people just existing. And it's depressing as hell that the number one cause of death for children in the United States is gun violence. Like, for real. That shouldn't be the case in any country. Yeah, we don't do wartime places for comparison. If you want to argue in good faith. Otherwise, fuck off. I'm not here for it. And I'm not going to get it drawn into a gun violence argument today. I'm just saying that the numbers are the numbers. No country has the problem that the United States has with guns. They just don't, because they don't have guns. They are not part of the culture. They are not part of everybody's closet, everybody's home. People don't stockpile arsenals. And for that reason, you don't have people committing suicide with guns, toddlers finding guns and accidentally killing themselves or others, people shooting up schools, people robbing banks with guns, people taking a gun into their old workplace and shooting their coworkers, people tracking down their ex-wife and shooting her. All the things that happen with guns in the United States do not happen in these other countries because the guns are not there. There are more guns in the United States than there are people. That is the culture. That is the gun culture of the United States. For better or worse, whatever you think of guns, that is the culture and that is how it is. Just statistically. So it doesn't happen everywhere else because that's not a thing everywhere else. And bear in mind, other places do have mental health issues and poverty and ridiculous inflation. Like, we do have all those here. Those are all also factors here. For people that say that the problem with gun violence in America is because there's poverty, because there's mental health crisis. Yeah, those are things in other countries too. But there's no guns. So make of that what you will. The stores are probably opening at like 6 a.m. this week, Matcha, aren't they? Like, don't they kind of have to? Also, if you work in retail this week, you have all of my sympathy. I can't even fucking imagine. Like, oh my God. Like, the kids here just went on school holiday and we're like, okay, we are officially not leaving the house unless we absolutely have to. Fuck it. We stay inside, we hole up, we guard. We have our Nerf arsenal, that'll be plenty. 6 a.m. Yeah, see, I called it. Fuck yeah, 6 a.m. Yeah, I'm trying to decide, like, if you had to go shopping this week, would it be smart to go at 6 a.m. or are there other people who are doing that and arriving right when they open at 6 a.m.? Like, sometimes it's better to wait to like 20 or 30 minutes after they open so you miss that initial rush of people and then like slide in there. Like, we went to Costco the other day, like half an hour after they opened, so we missed like the rush of people standing around outside. What the fuck is it with Costco, by the way? It's amazing to me how people stand outside and wait. Just wait. Wait for the doors to open. Costco open. Costco. Like, fucking hell. Half expect them to start banging themselves against the metal like zombies, like it's actual zombie apocalypse. People just milling around outside, occasionally throwing themselves against that metal door that rolls down. We have to get our cook chook. Australia's winter months are the summer months up north. So June, July, August, basically. And, you know, in that direction on either side. But winter here, we don't have any snow or anything. We get lots of rain. Winter is the wet season here. We get tons and tons of rain, and we get hail sometimes. And cold. Like, occasionally it'll be cold enough to, like, frost the grass. Have, like, a little bit of a hard frost. But it's still pretty mild. It's still pretty temperate. Very few places in Australia get any sort of snow. You got an ad? Fucking YouTube. So, when I do these streams on YouTube, they ask me about the ad thing, because technically this is a monetized stream. You know, there's like the super chats and everything else. Technically it's monetized. They ask me, would you like us to handle the ads for you and place them at regular intervals throughout your stream so you can focus on your stream? Or would you like to place the ads manually? And I always say just leave it manually, and then I don't place it because I don't want to. And yet, if you just refreshed and got an ad, I didn't place that because I haven't done that. So, YouTube, you're full of shit. You said I could decide. Oh my god, this fucking platform. Like, there's currently a little blue box on my screen saying, focus on your live stream and let YouTube insert the ads for you, with a little thing that I can click to turn it on. I'm not clicking it, YouTube. I still haven't. Still won't. Oh my god, this guy's just got a stockpile of critters here. But you're just feeding my hippo, bitch. Look how strong he's getting. Keep feeding the hippo, that's it. Oh shit, they finally got him. It's okay, it's okay. What game is this? This is Super Auto Pets. I've played it a lot in the past. It's just like a chill vibe. 15-minute drive from snow? That's not bad. When I was a kid, there was plenty of snow. I remember having to shovel it. I've been in, like, made the mistake of trying to take a vacation in New Mexico in the winter. Ended up getting completely sucked in by a blizzard for like 3 straight days. It was rough. I like snow. It's pretty to watch. It's pretty to play in, but oh, is it a pain in the ass. It's heavy. It's hard to drive on. Causes all kinds of wrecks. Almost caused me to wreck. We were coming down that mountain in New Mexico and lost the brakes. Ended up hitting an ambulance at the bottom of the hill, which was good because the ambulance was there to help pull up the people who had gone over the edge of the cliff ahead of us. And if the ambulance hadn't been there, we would have gone off the edge of that thing too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not bad. Yeah, it's always good to go in with a list. If you have to go shopping this time of year, get a list. Know what you need. Ideally, sort your list by, like, write your list down by what section of the store you have to go in. So you don't have to go back and forth and back and forth. Like, group all of your items. Tired doggies. Okay, sure. It's fun when the backgrounds match, though. I like that. Alright, we're going in on a monster mosquito. Let's see how this works. I already did that. Yeah, good man. There's nothing worse than, like, when you have, say, like, produce, like strawberries and lettuce on the same list, but they're on different spots on the list. So you get your strawberries and you go halfway across the store and then you get to lettuce and you're like, son of a bitch, I was just over there. Like, I hate that feeling. Group your lists. Still have anything for your mom? I'm trying to... I got my parents all the shit they need to visit Australia in March. So, Merry Christmas. Here's your sun hat. Your plug adapters. Your... Yeah, things like that. Trying to think if there's any other good ideas. Mom's gonna be very hard to buy for. Punches per Karen. Wow. Good numbers. There we go. Now we're starting to pull a little. Matcha, I believe in you. I believe that you got this. I don't think we need anything else. I got some groceries in the other day. I do need to make the cookies, but food-wise, I made Philly cheesesteaks last night because Lupus started craving those during FT. And I happened to have steak in the fridge, so I did that. And tonight we'll probably have chicken or something. Trying to eat all the food in the fridge before we go anywhere for the holidays. farthest here left Florida was DC. I love DC. I've been there a few times. One of my favorite things to do is stay in Foggy Bottom, which is just funny to say. It's Foggy Bottom. But I stay in Foggy Bottom, walk through the GW campus, like towards all the touristy stuff. There's this really fun little ice cream shop, or at least there used to be, that I would kind of duck into and get like a little like homemade ice cream sandwich. And then you can just keep like meander your way all the way to the White House and keep going. Like, it's very walkable. I do love DC. I love the Smithsonian. I could lose myself in those museums. And there's also a fun little gallery called the Renwick Gallery, which is right across from the White House on the backside. And it's owned by the Smithsonian, so it's free. But it's like an old Victorian house that they've converted into a museum. So there's only like a handful of installations at any given time, like different rooms. But it's really, really cool. I love the Renwick. It's like a more personal vibe. If you're ever in DC, definitely check out the Renwick Gallery. Yay, DC. And it's such an easy train ride from New York. You had to get a gift for your sister, but UPS lost the package. Yeah, apparently my gift got lost. My gift from Lupus got lost. He ended up having to get a refund, and that was from Amazon too, so. But it's all good. We'll go shopping. Oh, but before I forget, this is something that's been turning up a lot, so you guys have probably seen it. I've seen it on TikTok. I've seen it on Twitter. Do me a favor. If you are doing the holidays with your family this year, if you still live with your parents or if you go to see them or whatever, please make sure that your mother's stocking is not empty. Please. Like, usually the moms handle things like the gifts and the stockings and stuff, and people forget that, you know, she's got a stocking hanging there too. And I've seen so many just depressing as fuck videos where there's just nothing in the mom's stocking because the dad just didn't think to do it. Doesn't even occur to him. And when the morning comes, the kids are like, oh, Mom, there's nothing in your stocking. And like, I've even heard of some of them like putting stuff in their own stocking just to make sure it doesn't look weird. Like, it's so sad. So please make sure there's stuff in your mom's stocking. Some dads are really good about it. My dad was great about it. My dad, like, the stockings were his favorite part. He just handled the stockings. Like, he loved that. And he's always been great about making sure that my mom had stuff in her stocking and also in her shoe on St. Nicholas Day, because my family observes St. Nicholas Day. So, like, my dad's on it. But my dad's a Christmas freak. Most people are not as hardcore as my dad when it comes to Christmas. So just please don't be one of those that lets Mom have an empty stocking at Christmas. What kind of trend is that, making the mom depressed? It's because they don't think about it. Like, for a lot of guys, and I'm not trying to say this in a derogatory way, I think this is just, like, I see my brothers in a similar, like, my brothers need to be reminded of things like when it's somebody's birthday or with our parents' anniversary. And they're grown-ass guys. Like, they have the capability to keep track of these things. They just don't. Like, I'm the one who pings them in, like, early June and says, okay, it's Mom and Dad's anniversary later this month. What are we doing? Are we getting them something? Like, what's the plan? And then I usually coordinate. Like, last year, my parents moved into a new house in a different state. So I researched and found a really good restaurant not far from where they lived, and then also some cool museums. And my brothers and I pooled our money, and I got them a gift certificate to the restaurant and some memberships to the museums because they love that shit. And, you know, they loved it. Then my mom sent me a separate text to be like, we know you did this. Thank you. Kind of like, they're not stupid. They know that I'm the one doing it, but that's fine. I don't mind doing it. Like, I like doing it. But the problem is you can't do it for yourself, you know? And like, I know my mom and like a lot of moms like doing that sort of thing too. But like on Christmas morning, like, you don't want to be putting stuff in your own stocking. That's just fucking sad. You know, it's just sad. Like, this is the one time where it's like, and again, I'm not necessarily trying to blame the men because, like, stockings don't move. You don't see them. Like, they're just sort of there. You kind of forget that they're a thing that needs to be addressed. But you're also not going to hear a lot of people being like, hey, I have a stocking too. Would you mind putting stuff in it? Like, nobody's going to ask that because it sounds kind of greedy and selfish. So, you know, it's just one of those things that's easy to forget about. And I don't want anybody to be forgotten, so. Yeah, nobody's deliberately trying to make mom depressed. It's just people forget, you know? People just sort of go on autopilot and forget. Let's get rid of that. And I know there's a million other things to think about this time of year, like a fucking million of them. So that's why I'm putting out the reminder. I mean, at the very least, you could like ping your dad, be like, "You got stuff from mom's stocking, right?" Like, please make sure you do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. That's a really beefy blowfish. Going to Christmas crusade for Mama Cheese. See what I mean though? Like, it's just, it doesn't cross people's minds. And then, yeah. And I wouldn't have thought of it, except I've seen so many videos lately. Because again, my dad has always been great about it. He has been a Christmas champ. Christmas and vacations, always the best time with my dad. Kind of a pain in the ass the rest of the year, but Christmas and vacations, always great. But just so many videos have popped up lately of these just tragic, like, empty mom stockings. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is a thing. This is a thing that's going on. How's my D&D game going? We haven't played lately. We're actually working on setting up a new project with that, which hopefully I'll be able to tell you guys about soon. Famriel is spearheading a project for us, so we will see how it works out. I think he's aiming for after the first of the year to really start diving into it, so. Oh man, we're so close. Fuck. Alright, we'll just do this then. Alright, this will probably be the last game, so let's make it count. We're gonna be the Chunky Planets. Woo! Yeah, Tham's a great DM. Very, very creative. Hey, look at that. We actually won one. Save you. You go in. You go in. You go in. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, a lot of cool things coming in the new year, I hope. Trying to organize. There's been a lot of stuff this month where I'm like, I will definitely get to that in the new year, and it's like, oh shit, New Year's coming. It's time to get to that. Oof, this is not great rolls. Yeah. An online game? The D&D is, yeah. Yeah, we use Foundry to play online. And I don't usually stream it, but Lupus usually does. Shala, thank you for the super chat. What did the poor viewer say to the VTuber? He said... You can't leave me hanging like that. No. Fibsh. Oh shit, I meant to move the hedgehog back. Oh well, that's fine. So yes, New Year, stay tuned. Honestly though, like the last proper D&D session that we had with the Mountain Monsters theme was so good. Like, I liked that so much. I need to see if Lupus downloaded that VOD because, yeah, It's so, so good. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. This is not bad lo-fi chill vibe Christmas stuff, actually. I don't hate it. Let's move you back here. Let's move you up here. Let's put you right there. I would like a hippo, please. Can't have nice things, though. Is the hat an add-on for the model? Yes. I can take it off like that. I can put on different hats like that. Sometimes I wear my pink beanie, which you can get at arkhamapparel.com. But for today, it felt like the time to wear the Santa hat. Yeah, this is a nice, it's like a no copyright Christmas mix, and I kind of dig it. Okay. Yeah, Lupus has it set for me. I can toggle a bunch of different hats and stuff on and off, so. Yeah, this is a good vibe. I like this. Feels like a chill space. Hey, look at that. We actually pulled a draw. I wasn't sure we were gonna. Now can I please have a hippo? Yay! Hippo. Okay, please have a hippo. Please. Yeah, my hippo's better than your hippo. Oh, well, I mean, not anymore, but it was. Oof, shit. Okay, never mind. Never mind, forget I said anything. Hedgehog superiority. Do I have a fish fear me hat? No, but I do have my rogue energy hat that Lupus made me because I'm a rogue energy partner. How I get a lot of my caffeine, actually. So there you go. Good night, cheese. Have a good one. Okay. You got this, Matcha. You'll get out alive, I believe. Oof, this fucking ox. Yikes. Well, we got wrecked. Oh, but we get a reward. We got a fish hat. Yay. I do drink Diet Cokes, but Diet Cokes, as it turns out, don't have that much caffeine in them. Not remotely on the level of like a cup of coffee or something. And then Rogue Energy approached me and said, hey, would you like to be a partner? And I was like, I don't know. And they were like, we'll send you some stuff and see if you like it. And so they did. And I actually liked it. Because the one time I don't like to drink carbonated beverages is when I'm working out. Like I need to start the day with carbonation. And most of the time it's carbonation. But like when I'm working out, I want not that. So this is something I can drink when I'm working out that will also make sure that I don't fall asleep the minute I stop working out. So, and they also have like the hydration flavors that aren't caffeinated, but like I like the caffeine. I like it a lot. So yeah. So I do drink. I let myself have like one shake or cup a day of the Rogue Energy to kick myself a little bit, and then It seemed like the kind of thing that you guys would like too, because a lot of you guys don't drink coffee or tea either, because I don't drink coffee or tea ever. I don't like them. So I thought this might be something that you guys would enjoy. So if I can bring discount codes to you, I will, as much as possible. Time to drive out and camp in the parking lot. ASMR YouTubers being their actual self on stream. Yeah, this is like all my Twitch streams, basically. I'm very much myself on streams. I don't have a script like I do every other time. But I am going to wrap it up there because it's been 2 hours. And we should probably call this. So, yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out. The last YouTube stream of the year, 2023. I'll be back tomorrow for the patron pick game night over on Twitch. So please be sure, patrons, to vote for that if you haven't already. Last I saw it was a tie, so definitely vote. And then Friday night for you guys, we've got the recast of this week. We're going to be watching a bunch of goofy Christmas shit, like old commercials and stuff, so that'll be fun. And then a couple days off for the holiday. And I'll see you guys again back here next week too. So, yeah. On that note, as always, be good, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night, guys. Thank you, JMD. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Bye, guys.